So, Chris first, let's do. We've met. Actually, I've met Yong first, and then
You
Yong.
met me first, and I
Yeah.
referred
And
him.
then you introduced me to Chris. And yeah, Chris, you just finished fish school, and
Yeah, I'm employed.
congratulations.
I'm employed at this moment, so okay, thank you.
New openings.
Thank you.
New chapter. Right?
What have you been
Hopefully.
doing the last 2 days since you finished?
Harassed by you.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of good times, let's just say.
Okay.
Good times. Where was I?
No, it was just it's pretty much just catching up with people who ever worked in that space,
Yeah.
and then extending my gratitude towards them. I guess that's one way to look at it, right? Because they all, each one of them, put in the time and the effort to help me essentially
Yeah.
to achieve a crazy version of what I want to do.
3 years, right?
3 years, yeah.
3 years. That's
So it's a long time.
it's a long time, man. How did you feel at the end?
Relief.
Relieved.
No more responsibility.
Relief. No, it
No
just
more for now, right?
For now.
it's
Of
like
course, he's gonna get back to it.
You're not going back to comedy.
no, but I think there's a transaction of your idea or your identity as a chef, because obviously 3 years ago when we started out, and compare that to last week, then where we ended,
Yeah.
it's very, very different. The core belief is still the same, but it has a very different vibe to it. Regarding the food or technique that we use, or the
Yeah.
type of ingredient that we get our hands on. So I guess that's always going to be a slow and painful progress.
Yeah.
But that'll be alright.
Don't eat my chips.
Yeah.
Go on. I'm hurt. Oh, so
That's it.
Yes, maybe just share a little bit of how you started. In how many years have you been in the industry? And how did you become the expert of foraging?
No, that's well. I mean, I don't think there's such thing as an expert on any field of work.
Or you spent long
right?
enough time.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of people that's better than me. Even in the city, I can speak. I know people that's better than me right now.
How did you get into?
I mean, I got into cooking just because I wanted a job. There was no passion, there was no grandmother stories, there was no childhood memories, there was nothing like that. I got into it, I wanted a job. When I was in New Zealand, that I needed to pretty much finish study really, really quick, and then get out and work and save money. And that's my goal. And study culinary art, it was like the easiest and the quickest out of all the other subjects.
but did you have any plans before that? Before
Nah.
like you didn't care
Nothing.
about which degree, which subject.
no.
I don't care.
I want to do art. I want to do something related to art or music. At that point,
Music.
yeah. Well, 3 generations of musicians in my family, so
I think like most of chefs, like they come from very artistic family. I mean like
I don't know, I mean-
you have some sort of like artistic
Freedom.
like talents.
How about you?
like
Are you from an artistic background?
I used to be a dancer.
Okay.
I used to be a break dancer, hip hop, street dancer. Yeah, so I always wanted to. I love to be on the stage, and being in the kitchen is being like the stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For dancing, you prepare for 3 months, and then you put it all out in for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
On the stage. Food is the same thing. You work on the dish for a month or two, and then there you go. When customer hits it, as soon as they walk to the door, your show begins, right? So, I think it has similar effect like art, like plating.
yeah. I think all sorts of creative process they're all very similar. Whereas a musician,
Essentially.
how to approach the music, or even athlete, how to approach a game.
Yep.
It's all very similar if it comes down to creative process.
Then how did you discover that you want to stay in culinary apart from like learning?
No, I
the
think
books?
like after the first 2 years, I wasn't like I didn't take it seriously. I worked long hours. I didn't complain, but that was it. I didn't think that I'm gonna go very far. I didn't think I'm gonna build a career out of this. There was just a job, and I'm gonna work to get my money. I'll put in the effort to get my money.
You're a hustler, right?
No. But then, after 2 years, it's like, okay, I think the passion kind of accumulates over the time. It's not something that it just hit you in one day. For me, at least, it was like after 2 years, I moved into. There was a job that I really wanted to get in, and I couldn't. So it was in New Zealand at the time. I went back to that place 6 days in a row to knock on the door and ask them to hire me. And from that point on, it was like, okay, I want to do this seriously and see where I end up. And one thing lead to another. New Zealand lead me back to Hong Kong. After Hong Kong, I went to Australia. Then Australia back to Hong Kong. Then went to Sweden. There was a couple of stages in between, and now I'm here. So.
And so you were picking? Was it because of the people who work with you that you got more into it, or like the way they do things?
Because I heard one theory, right? Someone said the passion looks for you, not you looking for the passion. But now I heard another one saying, some people said the passion actually accumulates from your the small success along the way.
Yeah, little details along the way.
If you keep on doing it and you keep failing things,
of course.
you're probably not going to be very passionate about it.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I to be honest, even in the beginning, I didn't like it too. I didn't like the heat. I didn't like the hours. It's like you stay on your own 2 feet for I was working 13, 14 hours a day when I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't like it at all, but I kind of had the tendency to push myself to do something that I absolutely hate.
But why is that?
Well, just so you hate fail. That's it. You go into a job, it's really hard. Then you can't keep up with everybody else, and they laugh at you. They joke about you, and they treat you kind of with one of those grin.
Yeah.
They look at one of those grins, and you just don't want to lose. I guess for me, that's why I just looked at them and went, well, okay, I'm gonna turn around and say you, and then let's see what happens.
Self-censorship.
Yeah.
For example, learn that.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, we just hate to lose. It was,
When did you start going out to forage, picking?
In Australia. Started in Australia.
Where were you in Australia?
In a little town called Dunkeld.
Is it Victoria? Or
It's
I don't even
a
know.
region of Victoria. I don't think a lot of people heard of it.
Yeah.
But
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
You've been?
I was going to look for a job there. And I was like, I don't even know how to take a train there. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it because of that.
I went to Sydney. I went to Sydney because apparently, back then when I bought the ticket and everything, I contacted this restaurant and they say they're gonna have a job for me. And when I arrived, and they actually say, well, the person who was gonna leave, they decided to stay. So now we don't have a job for you.
Which restaurant was it?
That was key.
Oh, okay. So we have the whole thing.
Similar.
No, we did it
We did it another way around. It's he went to Melbourne and then Sydney. I went to Sydney and then kind of Melbourne.
But you guys didn't plan to go there together, just...
No.
No.
Oh, you guys met there?
No, we met
ages ago in Never.
Yeah.
And then, but we go on our separate ways, but it kind of end up there roughly at the same time.
Yeah.
So going back to Dunkeld,
Yeah.
what got you outside the kitchen too?
No, it was just the whole system that they had.
Maybe I think you should mention which restaurant you worked there.
There was a place called Royal Mail.
Yeah. Who's the head chef there? Who was that?
Dan Hunter.
Dan Hunter.
So Hunter was at that point just won the Chef of the Year award. Obviously came from Mugaritz, which is a top 50 restaurant in Spain. But I didn't go there for the technique, and I didn't really looked at it when. Because I didn't know about his food. I didn't look at it. Oh, this is amazing. I'm gonna go. I look at it. Oh, this looks good. And then on top of that, they had their own kitchen garden. They raised their own.
Oh, so the kitchen garden got you attracted?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I haven't touched before, right? And then they raised their own chicken.
Really?
The farm next to them raises their own sheep. Forest 20 minutes down the road, you go pick mushrooms. And Port Fairy, which is a harbour, an hour down where the fish come from, they pretty much had their own ecosystem. They pick their egg every morning, from the chicken barn. And and then you have to like separate all your rubbish into like the chute bin, which is they feed the chicken with, the compost bin, which goes back to the farm, and the normal rubbish that goes into
That's a pretty crazy thing to do, especially in the kitchen.
Yeah, and then you have to be really sort of it was a long hours.
You have to be very alert of what you
Get up at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean like
The whole detour on the farming.
The standard hours was 8 to 1, so 8 in the morning to 1 in the morning.
What?
Oh wow.
I think majority of the
1 p.m.
farms.
Excuse me,
majority of
1 a.m.
Was this a farm or actual like restaurant?
Like
That's
25th hour.
Yeah. But that's the standard of hours. So like that's not like okay you work an hour, 2 hours early. No, that's the standard.
Did anyone overslept?
Yeah, happens.
Sleep.
Sleep. You don't get
So
penalty.
does everybody
was
work
actually
in
calm.
the restaurant also live
They live here. They live there.
Okay.
In the area.
in the area?
So like but you can't oversleep too long because let's just say 8:30 you don't show up. Somebody's gonna get in the car and drive to your house, knock on your door.
Yeah.
And by that time you're gonna wake up.
The town is also too small.
Yeah, the town has 300 people.
You can't get out.
How many cops are there? Is there any cops there, or just one?
Sheriff.
Right.
I'm not joking.
Sheriff.
I'm not joking. It was a sheriff.
Let's take a walk.
There's just one guy.
One
guy.
man band.
One guy just take care of the whole town.
Crazy
And
shit.
So
that's
that's the turning point for you.
I guess so, a little bit.
So that town itself is the best place if you want to murder someone, right?
Oh, you can't get away with it. You can't.
Just one sheriff.
Yeah, but everybody knows everybody.
Okay,
Somebody
fine.
missing, you bound to know.
All
It's
right.
like, when I walked into the town,
Yeah.
I got 300 different faces to remember, and
Yeah.
they only have one. And they only have one Asian guy there anyway, so like, it's not
Even better.
It must be you.
And I swear to God, like some of the farmers never talked to an Asian person before in their life, and then
Yeah.
they would ask me some, kind of strange.
Did you
Are
eat
you from
rice?
No, it's
rice
like,
with your wife.
Tell me about your race.
What skin color is that?
Seriously, it was like that. And then
How long were you there for?
almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
And then where did you go?
What? Did you do 2 years there?
Almost 2 years, yeah.
What? You got a working visa or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh well,
You got two
I got-
years in
No,
Australia.
I got a
Visa.
bridging visa. So what they actually need to do is like you have to work in a rural area, apparently in a farm for 3 months.
Yeah.
To extend that visa, right?
Yeah.
But because I was already in the middle of nowhere, I don't need to do that. So straight away they can go, okay, I'm gonna give you a bridging visa.
Oh, so you got the visa
And
right
then I
away.
can just
okay.
carry on working.
So you didn't have to.
Right.
Okay.
So
And then where to next after?
I came back to Hong Kong, and then because I like 2 years there, that enough is enough. It's like
But how was it for you, like living in Australia with big lands and ingredients everywhere? Like the restaurant has their own ecosystem, and then you back to Hong Kong where you're surrounded by concrete jungles. And how did you feel after you
Well,
see this?
transition.
Such a
there's an adjustment, right? Because so the closest town is half an hour drive away. I don't own a car, so I have to take bus, and then there's 2 buses every day. So and then once you get there, you have to wait for like 4 hours to buy all the groceries and come back. So coming out to Melbourne is 4 hours. So I never really go to Melbourne. I went to Melbourne like 2-3 times out of those 2 years that I worked there. And I remember like the last time, like the very last time I went to Melbourne, it was a huge gap. I think there was like 6 months or something. I never stepped out of that town. And then I got off the train station. I just forgot about there's traffic lights and then there's traffic. I just literally walked straight out.
Yeah.
I just walked straight out into like a cross junction. Just like it just comes natural because you never looked at it, right? And
Yeah.
then you just literally walk right out to the cross junction, and then somebody pulled me back and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
that's
Shit, I'm still in the countryside, man.
It's like, but coming back, like, as I came back to Hong Kong, it was just I can't get used to it. In the beginning, it's like
It's just too much everything.
yeah, and you don't see any bits of green for a week,
Yeah.
and they feel like just
There's
not
pot
comfortable.
plants that you can keep at home.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, you
And
got
then-
choice on, right?
No, it takes a little bit time to adjust. So then when I came back, I didn't want to cook.
You didn't want to cook?
I didn't want to cook. I think I said to myself, I'm going to go somewhere else. So I took French lessons for a couple of months, and then I took a course for sommelier. So
Oh, sorry?
sommelier, like
What is that?
wine program.
Okay.
I just took a course of that, and that's 3 months. And I did those two things in the same time, like working part time for a little bit in the kitchen. But I wasn't gonna work anywhere in Hong Kong, like full time wise. And then I got, I went to look for, I went to apply for a visa to go to France. And then after like I don't know, hundreds of phone calls to reach this guy called Pascal Barbeau in L'Astrance, and I finally reached him and actually set it up. It's like, okay, well, why don't you pick a day to come? Right before that happened, it was just when this restaurant called Ne opened up. And then they were doing the same thing that I was trying to do by myself when I first came back.
Oh, so you figured out what you wanted to do?
Yeah, when I came back after Australia, straight away I just went out to look for all the organic farms that I can find. Try to dig out any sort of information that I can have on local ingredients and especially like foraging stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bit let's say gimmicky foraging, but I think there's a history there. So this is something that I wanted to learn, and then and then the job kind of found me. I didn't went out to look for a job. So
Really? How do they know you?
How did I know you?
No,
It was Nerden.
Nerden knows Simon.
We know Nerden, right?
Nerden knows
is-
Simon. Simon
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
it to them.
Okay, Simon just.
Yeah,
Simon is he's a chef from Britain, and now he's Mandarin. Or
Mandarin Grill.
In
Grill.
Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Chef from Mandarin Grill.
Big ass chef.
But he kind of mentioned my name to them. Look, this is a guy that wouldn't shut up about those fucking things, and
Yeah.
there we go. So
Instead of the 100 phone calls.
yeah, so and I've stayed there for like I can't remember, like maybe probably 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years. And then somebody approached me to open up fish school.
Okay, so which year? When did you? We backtracked a year. Which year were you in Australia? Oh.
2010 to 2012, or 2011 to 2013, somewhere.
And then 2014 you were like.
Yeah,
France.
2013 I was back in Hong Kong, I think.
Yeah. And then 2 years.
Oh, yeah, at the same time come back. Oh
Yeah.
God, I'm old.
And then
Fish school is 2015 open.
late 2015.
Yeah.
Late 2015. September.
When did you go to Sweden then?
That was 2014's November, I think, or
Just
October.
briefly.
October. I went there for 2 months just to see.
Who did you stage? Where did you stage?
It's a little restaurant called Francine in the old town in Stockholm. But like for me, all the places that you work, I know some people wear like a badge of honor. There are people that go, okay, because I worked in these places, that makes me a very good chef, right? Because I worked in the 3-star, I worked in the 2-star, I worked in the top 50, that makes it me a very good chef. Some people wear like a badge of honor. I looked at it when that's the amount of work that I need to put in to be able to translate whatever that's in my head onto the plate. It was just a technical platform. It's just a way to learn those techniques. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing that you can be proud of because those accolades are not yours. It's not mine. I worked in...
Even though you're in like the
right?
best of all.
Okay, well, I worked in the top 50. It's not like I got the top 50. It's got nothing to do with me. I tag along and look at how they operate.
That is very true. Yes.
To learn the skill that I need to learn, right? To be able to translate what's in my head to execute them properly. So,
I see. So
Interesting.
we will actually. We'll take a break as well. We'll get some water.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, whiskey would be fine.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
enjoy me.
just a little bit.
Bit of a red blush wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah.
So
Oh, today the food is going to be like staff meal. Don't be so like.
It's very casual.
okay. Yeah, it's
Please dive in if you're hungry.
I haven't eaten anything all
What's
day,
this
so-
piece of shit here?
He always he never really eat.
Who? Him? You?
I never really eat.
It's just serve.
No, I don't eat much.
I mean, I said the shit.
I think you don't eat when you're actually like working long hours in the kitchen. You
Yeah, but
kind
no.
of forget to eat, right?
But not just that. It's like I kind of like force myself to don't eat like a lot of rice and a lot of starches.
It makes you feel happy and yeah.
So when you had the opportunity to come back and open fish school, because you've kind of started the research with all the organic farms already, how was it for you coming up with all the team, and then was it really hard to find people to actually
Oh yeah.
to actually understand what you're doing as well?
It was like the let's just say it's excruciating, like the amount of effort that you need to put in to be able to just achieve a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the whole point of agreeing to open fish school was I think mainly for me was two things. One is it's the experience that you're running a restaurant. Whether if it's a succeed or if it failed, but it's an experience that you can't. It's not easy to come by, right? And then the second thing is just learn about the seafood in Hong Kong, which is something that I kind of lack of in the beginning.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was it. There was there was no ego in to I'm ready to do this now and whatever.
It started more from curiosity, I guess.
It was just like I want to learn more, and I think that's the biggest weapon that you can have
Always.
as a person, right? It's your own curiosity in trying to figure out why things work and why it doesn't work.
So that is actually pretty important. But for me, because I was once asked by a couple of guys, like, I want to start a restaurant. I told him before, like, depends on who I'm gonna work with. Oh, let me just introduce the salad today. Like, okay, this is not a ranch sauce. It's not ranch dressing. I did not buy it. I made it myself. So this is the garbanzo beans dressing. So it sort of make it almost like looking like a mayonnaise, but there's no egg into it. So it's a vegan. Later on, we're gonna ask some questions about vegans. See how chefs feel like.
Vegans don't. You really want to get there?
Oh, yeah, we will. We will.
At some point,
I'm probably gonna get like thousands of hate mails after this.
It's okay. It's okay. We're not that famous yet. But later on, maybe probably someone take it up. But yeah, yeah, that's what I see. Like sometimes I mean, we work with some people who are starting a restaurant, whatever it is. It's, to me, at least, like sometimes it's like more like people business. Like if you cannot trust that person, you cannot really feel like to work with that person.
You're gonna spend like 18 hours a day with them.
Or you get constant having phone calls from this person, right? Then it's gonna be really painful. It's just way too mental stress.
It's not that I'm lazy to serve that customer. It's just that just beep. I did censor.
Whoops.
It ruins the whole routine. Like when you get like list of allergies, I look like during the rush time.
Yeah.
And then you get a paper of allergy sheet that they cannot have.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I hate them. Yes, please. It's not that I hate them. I love them. I love all the human beings, but it's just you know it is in the kitchen.
Not in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I get it, like, but you're not really gluten free.
No, yeah.
You can have gluten, but what the heck are you saying you cannot have gluten? You know what I mean? I'm like gluten allergy, and you know.
At the end of the day, it's like allergy is more like Starbucks sort of the 6 boxes you can take, so you customize your allergy. Nowadays, people like
they customize their allergies.
Yeah. I cannot eat this. I cannot eat that. I can eat fish, but I'm vegetarian. But then sometimes I'm vegan, but I can eat bacon. You know what? I cannot take gluten, but I can eat that bread.
Well, it's like the.
You know, one thing I tell them is
it's the same as like vegetarian Green Monday. Like at least you take one day.
Yeah, Green Monday. Yeah.
That's
like
good.
even the Buddhists,
I'm
they
part
do
of the
like
program,
once a month, just to cut down the overall consumption.
I mean those stuff are good. No, Green Monday is good. That's fine. Yeah. But then if a chef see that person, because I have this experience, right? Back in the days, I was working in a show kitchen. I think I told this story like 1,000 times, but it's really, really famous. So some really famous chef right now in Hong Kong. We usually serve his very famous ravioli. The ravioli with egg yolk in there with Parmesan cream sauce with caviar on top. If you know who I'm talking about, then think about that person. Okay. So then one day I was like, yeah, because he's the only person who's serving that dish in the whole Hong Kong right now. But there was one night, there's a customer says, it clearly says that, okay, I cannot take, milk products, right? So lactose intolerance.
Dairy, yeah.
Fine. And then we're like, so you're not gonna have this, both, gluten and lactose.
Oh, jackpot.
So you make a really funny thing. It's like a chopped spinach and put it like I remember I suggested make a poached or something like that. So you can, unless you said I'm allergic to eggs, right? So okay, fine. It's like a pile of whatever it is and a little bit of olive oil and some truffle oil. And after that person saw her partner eating the ravioli, and she said, why I'm not getting that ravioli? She giving kind of this shit to the servers and the waitress, and I was like, so can I help you? And she was like, why I'm not getting the same treatment? I was like, because you said you were gluten free and you have some problem with any milk product. I was like, she's like, yeah, but this one is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the first time in my life.
Because milk is in the bone. It's the format of the milk, how we serve it, right?
Yeah. Probably it's like a temporary okay. Like after this dish, everything.
You just have to ask.
It's like that ravioli looks really good. I'm gonna shit my fucking pants tonight.
No, yeah,
I don't care.
I'm like allergic to mushroom, but truffle is okay. And more please, everything's like that.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Too much people like that.
never ending.
I guess that those kind of things. I don't mind the dietaries, to be honest. I don't mind dietaries at all, but it's the false drama that I hate. It's like when you don't have that, and then you making a whole scene about, I cannot have this and that and whatever.
That was like a hip thing, right? People say like,
I'm gluten free.
like competition of allergies, like how much I have and how much you do. Like,
It's like
So you know what I started to do is like, is this actual allergy or like preference allergy? And then go ask customers. Like, I can't ask that, chef. It's like, go ask. It's like, because all the Korean food has garlic.
yeah.
If you have a garlic allergy, get the fuck out of my restaurant.
that's true.
Censor,
That's
get
very
out of
hard.
my restaurant.
That's really hard. Like,
I have some pretty funny combinations, like no dairy, no gluten, and no nuts. You screw. And I remember like
The leaves.
there was
there you go.
he can vouch for that. There was a couple of occasions when fish school first opened that during service I had to come up with like a 6-course vegetarian tasting menu for one person.
Yeah.
During service, it was like in the middle of service, we have no vegetarian menus. Yeah, I'm gonna go into the fridge and pull something out of my ass. Literally, I just did that, and then
That's
it.
what you wanted, creativity.
No, but that wasn't like like you can do that, but that doesn't justify that what is the best that you can do for those people, right? And then if they're gonna come in and without telling you beforehand, and then they sit down and they go, actually, I can't eat the whole menu. Do you have a vegetarian menu? That's the stuff that you hate.
See, if we have a space like hotel, fridge, and kitchen, yeah, I could pull anything off the fridge and cook you something.
But that's the thing, right?
Like,
you don't.
think about Hong Kong, man. Like, kitchen size of the kitchen is very tiny. You could barely fit like 2 people, 3 people there. You're expecting us to keep what, like 60 different varieties of vegetable just in case, right? Just we're not gods, right? Like, it's doable. Of course, we're trained to do that, but it's fucking pain in the ass.
Maybe make a tasting menu with tasting of carrots.
Yeah.
Raw home pickled.
Carrot
oils.
mousse, grated carrots, and carrot
Like
tartare.
six course of that.
Yeah,
Like,
sous vide carrot, grilled carrot,
just eat everything
Poached.
carrot. Like,
turn.
We got it.
No, but vegan is the most challenging. Vegan is definitely the most challenging.
yeah.
But don't you think you have to start like learning? Because I mean, a lot of research and people, noise is coming out. Like people are switching to vegetarian, more people opting to vegan.
Yeah, but
Like-
there's a trend, yeah.
But then it's also important for you to know as well.
It's
So
like
that- and I guess it spikes as well inspiration?
Yeah, I
how
mean,
do you make amazing vegan food?
most of the chefs out there, like we not necessarily need to learn all that because you're still talking about there's a very small market for vegetarian friendly and vegan restaurants, even though it's a huge movement. But if you look at good vegetarian restaurant in Hong Kong, I think you can name only a few.
Only a few.
Now, I don't want to be anything to do with like religion or something like that, but just come across like think about it. If you see vegan or vegetarian is like a lifestyle, things like that, just go to those places. Like, I mean, I'm serious. I'm really serious. Like, you cannot, for example, you cannot just go like, I'm a Muslim. Like, I'm not. Okay, just let's say I'm a Muslim. I cannot go to every single restaurant and say, what way of pork in there? Like, are your food halal? Like, I'm not saying anything wrong about that. But then, if you go to somewhere, they're not basically built or created just for that, those kind of people. You have to expect they don't have those stuff services for you or products for you. I mean. Because they weren't there because of that purpose.
The most amazing vegetarian or slash vegan food I had, it was in Malaysia, in a place called Batu Cave. Underneath there, they got all those Indian restaurants that serve like vegetarian food because it's Buddhism.
Yeah.
And then it was one of the most amazing meal I had. All vegetables, and then you eat it with your hand.
Is it the one of those that on the banana leaves?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are amazing.
And then
you can like keep popping up as
and
well.
they actually milk is created
But
because of the people,
this is
right?
what my point is. That was amazing because that was based on a tradition and culture practice.
There's so many.
And the religion practice they've been doing for centuries.
Yeah.
They're not making things that's innovative or trendy to attract clientele or having a voice to be heard or I'm the front runner of this movement in this city. They're not doing that, and those are amazing because those are built on cultures and histories. And then if you want to have a vegetarian or vegan restaurant in Hong Kong, you start seeing people doing all this weird stuff like vegetarian sausages or vegetarian steak. Now I remember I saw like a vegetarian burger that they make it like a patty, like almost like a steak.
Well, also,
That's the trend thing, right?
Right? That's a different process.
what about the food tech side then?
Yeah, but like
Don't even go there.
Because I find it really funny. Like let's talk about a little bit of Chris' background, right? You're basically Shanghainese, right? You're from Shanghai, and there are a couple of dishes from Shanghai, like the false things. Like so, everything is made of bean curds,
false duck and chicken.
false duck, false chicken, false char siu. Everything is false. Like everything is made either from gluten or from soybeans or anything non-animal parts. Okay. And now you see the trend is like
false burger.
Yeah, false burgers. And no one like the Chinese have been doing this like for ages.
Well, I suppose it's just like food making food more relevant and relatable.
I don't know.
Because like that it exists for a very long time, but do this generation still eat it?
It doesn't look very good.
I mean, yes. I mean, as
sometimes
the
I
time
crave
goes,
for
and
it,
of
but I
course,
don't think about it
of
a lot.
course, food progress, right? We make progress of the food as a chef, so we have to figure out new techniques new techniques and new flavor profile. That's also part of our job.
But my point I actually want to get to is, if you want to be a vegetarian, you want to save the earth, just eat vegetables. Don't make false food. Okay, I gotta say this. Like, if you want to get a girlfriend, whatever, marry is not the right way to go. That you blow the doll there is not the right way to go. Go to a bar. Like, don't make a false food and then think you're gonna save the earth. Don't do that.
That's the thing, right? I think a lot of people right now, especially in this day of age, even in Hong Kong, people talk about sustainability, right? There's a lot of restaurants that have that, as like a badge, to wear like a badge, say we promote sustainability. But I don't really think most of them actually understand what you're talking about. It's like
lab food.
No.
So are you saying some of the restaurant what they are they doing is
well, I'm not naming names.
You're not naming names, but I'm saying like
names, right?
are they doing for marketing purposes or
No, but like
No,
there's
right?
different there's different ways of looking at it. I think sure, places that reduce down plastic straws, right? And they say, you know, we big supporter on sustainabilities, and we're gonna reduce the straw that we use. Fine, but what about the problem that you created by using metal straws? It's the same with people saying I'm using sustainable seafood.
So what you're saying is it's not the material itself, it's the behavior
No,
itself.
it's the whole. You have to understand the whole cycle of things. People saying they use sustainable seafood, right? You can look it up in Hong Kong. There's a lot of places. I've never said that once in my life, because I think true sustainability doesn't exist.
well, yeah,
It doesn't.
the way you live
It
is
just
not
doesn't.
that. Yeah.
Our clothes is not sustainable. Our shoes not sustainable. This piece of table is not sustainable. If you look at it that way, the only way that you can have sustainability is build your own ecosystem around the place that you live or the place that you work, right? By sourcing sustainable seafood,
The travel and
ignoring the fact that the feed they use behind them, the ways of farming, sure, no problem. Those might be sustainable. Where did the feed come from, right? If you take out the feed from, let's say, the ocean that's wild, okay, you take it to feed those sustainable farm fish, what's the counterpoint for nature then? Because nature's losing a huge amount of feed that's for, you know,
their own ecosystem.
certain amount of, you know, it's breaking the ecosystem apart and focusing on one part that's always sustainable, but then again, it's actually losing the focus on the whole thing. So it doesn't really make any sense in my point of view anyway. You know, I'm not saying I could be wrong, but
Fair enough.
What do you think about that, Yong? Like,
I think it's all about marketing, to be honest. I think ingredients and all that, we always had a problem, organic, not organic, or whatever expected. I think it's the same shit, to be honest. You know, we call it organic, and then you see in a, you know, grocery store and, you know, charge for double the price of the vegetable, but they word it organic, but it's not really grown organic. You know, there's so many ways you could go around with it.
Well,
So
you can never really know what's the
yes,
true
it's the same thing with
definition.
food, right? Yes, the things about sustainability, we're killing many cows because we fucking love burgers, but that doesn't mean that it's we just don't run out. It's bad, right? It is what it is. Right at the end, people we know restaurants in Hong Kong especially. It's all about marketing. It's how much word you get out there.
oh yeah,
So when this opportunity shows up, right, like sustainability, you know, the lab food and organic and shit like that, you have different marketing point. That one point makes you different than any other restaurant because they're using regular local vegetables and I'm using organic. So they're using it as a marketing standpoint. I think same with this false meat is marketing. Okay, I create a product and then I say this is really good, and you know, Bill Gates, Microsoft, whatever backed us up, whatever. Oh shit, I said that out loud. But anyway, the big companies backed up this project, and at the end, I own a restaurant. I need to put a new item on the menu. I think this is going to be a trend, and of course, I'm going to use it.
Well, I think it goes both ways.
It goes both ways. I mean, of course, I always say I care about this planet and I use sustainable false meat, but at the same time, I need a marketing fee.
yeah, because there was if you talk about
win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win, right?
if you talk about the false meat or sort of something like that, we always like Mugaritz, for example, very famous Spanish restaurant, 3-star in Spain. They created the watermelon
carpaccio.
Watermelon carpaccio, it dehydrated. It's really a long process, but it tastes and look and feel like a piece of beef. But no one really talk about it. Like even people using beetroot to try to.
Beetroot, people know now.
I mean, El Bulli was doing what tomato tartar 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So there you go. You know.
It's like different ideas happen in the wrong time or different, like you have to be in the same space to be heard, like the right time.
No, I think if you do it like he said, we have our like restaurant has their own ecosystem, and then they're making false meat. No problem with that, right? Like you grow your own tomatoes, whatever, mix like tomato tartar or any vegetable or like watermelon carpaccio. Yeah, you don't actually doing anything. You're actually getting whatever you get natural, and then you make something out of it. False meat is God who knows what they do.
Yeah. If they say, okay, we're making false, meat, we're making false burger patties. Where did the vegetable comes from?
Yeah.
Is the vegetable farming organic?
Oh,
what about the permaculture they were doing, right? And you can dig deeper, and you're gonna find out. Well, actually, no, not everything. Because
it's still a business model after
right.
all.
So
yeah, it is. At the end,
all in all, I don't
you
mind people
eat
doing
cost
that. To be honest, I don't mind people taking.
It's good to diversify anyway.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like
I don't think it's a bad thing. To be honest, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's just the way that.
I think we should give out credit where credit's due. So if that person has actually done a lot, to understand the impact on environment and the stuff they can do to help, sure, like have all the media that you want, take credit for it because that you earned it, right? It's like it's the people that knows a little bit and then pretend they know a lot that kind of doesn't.
Well, there's a
sit
space
right? So it's
to
like,
take it over.
no, but it's
That's
like,
what happens when timing is Let's talk about what about you?
Me?
Yong?
No, I'm not important. That's not.
Where you from? Where you from? What's your story?
My story. Oh my
Yeah.
God! After this amazing story from.
no, trust me,
Everybody
man.
has their own story.
Come on, look, I'm like as unpolished as possibly can, and I look like I'm a scrub. It's like I know who I am.
You're too humble.
No.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Korea.
How long have you been in Hong Kong?
5 years. So I was born in Korea. Sorry, I was manufactured in Korea. Shipped to Canada when I was young, and then now I got transferred to Hong Kong. Yeah.
Was it really transfer? Let's share your story.
No, you want a pickup line story or you want my actual legit story? I have two versions.
Curious for both.
Yeah. Well, reason to come to Hong Kong, I think, like very similar to what Chris had in Australia and New Zealand. I think Canada is surrounded by beautiful ingredients and big lands and agriculture. We order a hog and we order pork or pig. They slaughter it in the morning and then the flesh is still warm. You know what I mean? Like I work in that environment, which everything is sustainability. You talk to farmers and then you ask specific things and they grow a specific way, and then there's a lot of good communication. But I think Canada, there's not much consumer. They love to cook at home.
It's underrated, I think. Canada.
Very underrated. Very underrated. So I worked at a restaurant called Buka, Italian restaurant, top 100 in Canada. Anyway, yeah. So it's an amazing restaurant, amazing ingredient, amazing food. But just people don't really know that Canada has good food. And there's not many restaurants that I actually wanted to go out and work, because I think Buka was everything. We cured our own meats, we made our own cheese.
You were the best in town already.
Yeah, we got everything within 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing, right? Like seafood from BC, like okay, more than 10 kilo, but I mean, we get stuff from BC, shipped in the morning, arrive on the same day.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we make salamis and prosciuttos and whatever, we just get hocks.
Yeah.
There's over 40 pounds that we actually specifically ask farmers to feed this, feed that, raise them up to this. I want 4 centimeters of the fat on the back fat. You have this beautiful thing, but not many people know about it, right? So when not people know about it,
then obviously
you lose interest, right? I mean, it's a great market, but because they're very reserved, I think Canada people are very safe. They want to wait until this whole new wave, hit on Chicago, hit on Asia, and then now, everyone's hyped up. Let's eat it, right? Yeah. I think same case as London. They're very slow with trends and.
In where?
UK.
UK, really? I'm surprised.
I find UK is very slow, like accepting the new cultures and to actually blend in with their daily thing, right?
Fair enough. So how did you come to Hong Kong? Like
My pickup line story will be got drunk one night, throw a dart on a wall, and it landed on Hong Kong.
If it's not the pickup
Well,
line?
I mean, yeah, it kind of happened, but I mean, most of it, because I'm Asian, okay, as you can see clearly. But I always done Western food in my whole life, Italian, French, European, Mediterranean, whatever. I actually never had a chance to cook Asian food. Like, I worked in Japanese restaurant, but it was more Americanized Japanese restaurant. There were like California rolls and dragon rolls and dynamite rolls, like not authentic Japanese food. Korean restaurant, same thing. It was more like a pop food, using tons of MSG in there, and then just like anybody can do, right? It's like I work at a McDonald's, but Korean version of it.
Was it difficult when so you throw the dart and the dart landed next to?
It was a culture shock.
Yeah.
It was I think I'm not bashing on Hong Kong cooks or anybody. I think just the work ethic was different. I found more passionate cooks. When I was in Canada, this was a whole different thing. He's my coworker. We talk about food, and I understand what he's saying. He understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of level of passionate. Like, I'm not saying Hong Kong cooks are not passionate, but I think I think cooks in Western influence, they tend to share more. They're more passionate. I think I was scrolling down on a Facebook webpage, and then I saw it was Vicky Chang from Bea, when he was at Liberty. I think he was desperate for staff, so he literally wrote, "Anybody interested coming to Hong Kong as a cook?"
Yeah.
And I replied, like, me.
Yeah.
But my chef de cuisine, Ryan, he's a good friend of Vicky.
Okay.
Because Vicky used to work in Canada as well.
Yeah, he worked in Canada.
Was he born in Canada or worked in Canada? I can't remember.
No, I think I'm not sure. I think he was originally from Hong Kong and then moved to Canada. When he immigrated to Canada and then went to New York and come back to Hong Kong. But yeah, so that was it. I replied and my chef gave me a go, and I literally packed everything within a month. Party hard for 1 month.
Fell
like,
well.
there's no tomorrow. I don't remember what I was doing for a whole month. Then I came to Hong Kong, and then worked for Vicky for a year, and then he decided to open Vea. I actually wanted to leave Hong Kong because I couldn't get used to it. The fast pace is the whole thing. Like,
so what is it like? Say for Hong Kong, it's much harder.
It's a very competitive city. It's
versus him going to Australia, it's pretty.
Yeah. I'm coming, popping a tall can of the beer on the weekend and sitting on the porch and enjoy my life. And here, you work 40 hours back home per week, and then here you work 8 hours per week. You know what I mean? It's a non-stop, fast pace. But the thing is, I think generally, like, palates, you could have probably the best of the certain cuisine in Hong Kong. Like, let's say Canada, like, yeah, there's someone who does it, but not everyone does it good. But here, Nepalese food, Filipino food, Thai food, whatever, at least there's one restaurant or two that you could go, and this is actually better than what I had in Thailand or Philippines. Like, actually, Hong Kong, they actually do it really good. And so I think my palate in a way developed better, because I'm starting to tasting different things. Like, even the same Asian food in North America, I think it's mainly very sweet, more sweet, more sour, more salty.
Stronger flavors.
Strong flavors, right?
The classic, the Chinese takeaway food.
True. Yeah. So and
it's actually got nothing to do with Chinese food as well.
I know, that's what I'm saying, right? Like guloyok, right? That's sort of pork. Like,
I actually really love it.
I love it too.
You're
North American.
Like every time, can I have that?
I ate in those places like maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
Out of
it's
all my
actually
life.
hard to do though.
It's hard.
Like so few people do it right.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
I remember like my friend told me about this thing called like chop suey. I actually don't know what the hell it is.
Chop suey?
Yeah.
Hang on, is it Chinese?
No, yeah, it's one of those like Chinese takeaway things. Like she's from Canada as well, and she told me this thing there. I just don't know what it is. But
so how is it like working, starting off at Liberty?
Hard, difficult. I just couldn't get used to it. Like Canada's like, oh, yes, kitchen itself is intense still, but there's really, I'll say, fine balance in between them. You have your work life, you have your personal life. It is very well balanced. Here, it's different. 6 days a week. You start from 11, 10. Like, I'm not complaining about the hours. I've done long hours before, but it's just, I don't know, man. It was just miserable. I felt miserable. Everybody was just like, some guys were just here for the money. They don't even care about food.
But they're good.
What do you mean? Like the food they cook?
Yeah.
Or the actual their skill set?
The skill set.
I think in general, some were really good, some were bad, like horrible bad. Like some guys who actually care and actually willing to learn and passionate, yes, same. They push hard, they don't get lazy, whatever. You know, I never seen so many people going so many smoke breaks. I seriously, I didn't know. At one point, my whole kitchen smelled like fucking cigarette in the kitchen because everyone go for smoke. I'm sorry for my language, but it was just.
Yeah.
And that made me want to quit smoking. You know what I mean? Like I quit smoking.
Scary now.
I quit smoking now. Like I don't smoke anymore. But like that itself was just.
Yeah.
Right.
How long were you there?
I was there for a year, and then I decided to go back. And I slowly I think I was lonely. I didn't have family. I didn't have friends. I was just here by myself. You know, locked up in a tiniest small hostel room, and you know, where shower is top of the toilet. Yeah, good experience. I guess that's why I hated it a lot.
Yeah, I would hate it too.
Yeah.
Like, especially after you work for so many hours.
So many hours, and then you go into
this
humid, wet bed, you know, hostel. Yeah. Did that for like 2 months. I don't want to go back there.
Didn't have Airbnb then.
Yeah.
We need sponsor.
Yes.
Airbnb.
And then I slowly I slowly found something that are interesting, like restaurants. There's so many restaurants that you can go out.
So you went home and actually.
I went home.
Home is in Canada.
Home is Canada. Yeah,
okay.
Not Korea. I mean, both are my home, but
yeah.
When I say home, I consider more Canada. So I packed my stuff. I went back to Canada. I told my mom I'm coming back in 3 months. I just want to travel around, maybe go to Vietnam, Philippines, continue my journey in Asia. Then I saw this ad, chef for hiring for cooks. So I was like, oh, just 3 months gimmick. I'll go there. The funny thing is, I never cooked Korean food before I got to Hong Kong. And ever since I left Liberty, and every, you know.
How long were we in Liberty?
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are the guy
right after you.
So you're the guy I heard because that year I left Liberty. I went to Australia, right? Small world, isn't it?
Yes.
Small industry.
Small industry too, yeah. That's a tiny city, right? And then every time I hand in resumes and they see my name Korean, they see I could.
Very close.
Yeah, close enough, right? So they go, oh, you're Korean. I'm like,
yeah,
so let's open up a Korean restaurant. It's like, I never cook Korean food. Don't matter, you're Korean, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, sold. You're hired.
I just hired like this.
I just got off. Yeah. I got laid off. Like, not laid off. I don't work anymore. I left my job.
Yeah.
And then as a sous chef, and I applied my job as a cook, and 10 minutes later, I'm a head chef. So in my mind, I must be a very lucky guy to be a head chef in such a young age. And then,
how old were you?
I was 27.
Jesus.
So, you know.
I was like taking food dirt when I was 27.
I know, so I had a quite easy ride. But I mean, Canada, Toronto, I was running a restaurant, but that was a food and kitchen system. Everything was made by someone else, so it was easy for me to catch up because it's already there. All I gotta do is remember everything, memorize everything, and make sure all the food is tastes well, right? So these crazy people, investors and restaurateurs, they want me to open a Korean restaurant, and so we did. But how Korean I can get, all I remember is, kimchi stew and miso soup that cooked by my mom, right? All I know is American techniques, European techniques, all the foreigner flavor profile. So I had to restudy Korean food. It was fucked up. Like my parents, my mom's side of family, they went against me when I said I want to be a chef, and then a moment later, like 2 years later, I'm like, oh, I'm actually head chef of the Korean restaurant now. So,
like, what can you cook? Come on.
So I started to get all the help that I need, right? So the food come out quite interesting.
Was it Yuhan?
Yuhan, yes.
Yeah, right.
The food was quite American, Korean, I would say. But it was the food that I always wanted to do. But I don't think my food was never great over there when I was at Yuhan. I think it was edible.
No, I remember because I went to eat there. It's
Here's the
definitely
customer review.
Yeah.
no, it's definitely not like Korean. It's definitely has some like those Western touch, to it,
Yes.
like American touch to it. But I think,
Fried chicken and foie gras, right?
no, but I think it's nice. It's nice. There's lots of the flavor profiles there.
Yeah, and then I think that's when I opened my eyes on comfort food and casual food because I didn't know a way to elevate the Korean food back then. Like my experience was lacking. Even though I started at 17, 10 years experience in kitchen is really nothing, to be honest.
Well,
I mean,
the
it is something.
diversity and the recipe can be
But I mean,
ending. It's just endless.
Yeah, it's endless.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think head chef at 27 is too early, and I still think that I took the job too early, too, which when I wasn't ready.
But it came as a surprise. Like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of just like,
I'm
not
here for
okay.
cook. I'm like, did see my CV, and I see a couple photos from pop-ups. Like, you're our head chef now. So what was the head chef that you just hired? Oh, she's gonna be the sous chef now. And then so it was my dream job. It was my dream to be a head chef.
You got it.
Back then,
Yeah.
at early age. 'Cause I don't think I cooked because I enjoyed and the thing. I think I started because it was the only thing that I could do well, and it was the thing that it'll take me somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't live in that shower, top of the toilet thing room for forever, right? So I took it,
Yeah.
and ever since then, all the job, of course, I applied or offers that I got was
Yeah.
just Korean food.
We'll just interrupt a bit and maybe
What is it? Yeah,
let David introduce.
Okay, so
What is
yeah,
this
me here.
recipe?
Korean food.
So this
He's like,
because I sometimes I will make a lot. I think Chris already know. I make a lot of weird dish based on whatever I feel like. or
Weird is an understatement. I just say that out loud.
too much weird food like, and then I do it sometimes because
What do you mean by understatement?
You don't want to know.
there are way too much weird food. Like
he experiments. That's good.
some of them were experiments. Some of them were trying to torture my colleagues. Yeah,
Okay.
they know it.
So what have you got today?
So today is actually because we got a Shanghainese Chris over here, so we got the drunken chicken, and then on the bottom is your rice cake, the Korean food. But I didn't know you're not that Korean now. Right? Just
I'm half and half. I still love soju and
yeah, that's why I put cheese on there. Like
I still love soju and mozzarella cheese.
When
on
I
every
first
food.
met him, I literally thought it was just like a Korean kind of grew up in Canada, but like his parents always have this kind of strong heritage at home. That's the first impression I got of him. Like I would never thought that he never actually worked in Korea.
Actually, never. Like, oh, seriously, you should see. Like, I go.
Now you have.
Now I have, yes. I don't think I'll never work there ever again. I mean, I'm probably gonna get like hate messages, whatever. That like, oh, you're Korean, you talk bad about Korean. I mean, to be honest, I think the
It's
food
one of
level.
the toughest place to work, to be honest.
Korea?
Yeah.
Korea. I think all over Asia, it's a hard place to
Well,
work.
Korean also like all kind of occupation is like 12 hours.
Oh yeah, they are.
So, like
And they're
that's a
very-
definite.
See, this is the thing. When I go to Korea to do events, and when I actually explain dishes and what I'm gonna do, this is the dish, and when I speak in English, They're like, oh my god, this guy knows something. He's like, yeah, he's a man, like Korean from.
What's happening to you again?
Yeah, and then as soon as I speak Korean, I'm like, like you're not chef. I'm like, what? Just because I know how to speak Korean?
Exactly. That's the reason why.
Yeah. So I stopped speaking Korean when I go to Korea.
That happens in Hong Kong.
Hey, you know, I'll tell you this.
Is this so funny?
It is funny. I'll tell you a personal story right now. This is pretty juicy. No, not that juicy, but back in the days when I was younger, it was like when I was 18, 19, something like that, I went to, you know Lan Kwai Fong, right? Everybody knows Lan Kwai Fong in Hong Kong, right? God damn it. And I went there with my whole bunch of my friends. I started speaking Cantonese because all of us grew up in here. We all speak Cantonese. And then all of a sudden, a friend of my friend is a girl, and I find her pretty. And then we start conversation. She totally ignored me. But ignore me is normal, right? I'm not the hottest guy on the planet. But then 5 minutes later, when I was talking to another person when we speak in English, she turned around and talked to me again. I was like, what the hell was that? Like, I speak Cantonese and I speak English, and I got discriminated because I speak Cantonese. Like, what the hell was that? Really?
So I had it the other way around. Like, if I started speaking English, they think I'm Chinese. So I had to speak Korean.
That's good.
Yeah, so they know I'm Korean. You know what I mean? And then of course all the K-pop and K-drama was huge in like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's why probably like 50% of the Hong Kong want to decide to fucking open Korean restaurant everywhere. Now like another 80%
Oh, wait, hold on.
closed.
No. 3 years ago was the fish thing.
What?
It was like the food trend. Was
Yeah,
like
the
fish
whole
thing?
Seafood thing.
Fish
Seafood
thing,
thing,
and then Korean stuff. I think year after that was like everyone was opening modern Korean restaurants and
Yeah, there's a few. There's
all
a
the
few
fried
that
chicken,
pop up.
fried chicken
few
is
will pop
all
up.
over the place, like
buddy.
everywhere fried chicken, and then everywhere is doing fish, doing
See,
seafood.
this is the thing though, like when I tell people, I'm like, oh, so what do you do? I'm a chef. Like, oh, what kind of food do you cook? I'm like, Korean food. I'm like, oh, so you making fried chicken?
And
Like,
we
you work in a barbecue place? I'm like,
But actually, this is the
That's
question
a perception.
I really want to ask,
Yeah.
like the rise of the Asian cuisine, right now. What was your feeling towards it? Like David Chan makes all the Asian food sort of like
Fusion.
it hit now. Like, oh
Yeah.
God, people looking at, you know what?
Yeah,
Asian-
Chinese thing.
David Chan didn't really do any fusions, like maybe a little bit, but his was like a bit. It's a different approach to.
But then he introduced the whole Asian food to the American scene. Like, who the hell would
That's
eat
true.
that pork belly bao? To be honest, that one. Now, to be fair, that pork belly bao was like a shortcut of the whole original version. And then people started, oh God, you can actually eat pork belly like that. And then you sort of like,
Which year was that?
it goes like 2008,
Oh fuck, 2000. Yeah, it was.
something like that.
It was like
The
Melbourne.
rise of Momofuku, right? It makes
Yeah.
like all the Asian food almost like hip. And I always want to ask, because you live in Canada, or you even live in New Zealand, you probably have the same feeling. Is that why Asian foods are always associated to be cheap?
Not
Maybe
true.
it's a
Sure.
feeling.
Not true. Japanese food is not cheap.
Except Japanese. Because before people were on this table talking about this. I was talking to the guy in this room. We were saying like Japanese are so good at marketing. They create such a beautiful aura. Like the Japanese food is like amazing. Now I'm not saying Japanese food is bad. I'm saying Japanese is good. The Japanese are really good at marketing themselves. I remember Sony, when they entered the U.S. market, they said, you know what, we're not trying to make ourselves look good as a Japanese company, but we're here to promote Japan, the quality of our work. Now, it doesn't necessarily, does it actually mean it's better than everyone else? I'm not sure, but I mean, Japan is really good marketing. But the rest of the Asian countries, like, we are always expecting food to be really cheap, other than Japanese food. Japanese food is very expensive, and then the rest is like really cheap.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it didn't get opened up.
I mean,
They didn't open up the market.
I think we could go back. I mean, this relates to all histories and Japan invading Korea and part of Hong Kong and China and whatever. because when after the war finished, people started to immigrate to the U.S., North Americas, and whatever. So, back then, I don't think Chinese people were that rich. Korean people were fucking poor as fuck. So we started helping communities, try to make a cheaper food, better deals when people come. So I think the whole culture started as let's help each other, and then it was on turf, right? Like this is the same thing. Like you go to schools in states. Let's say you go to states tomorrow, and then Chinese people are gonna gather up with Chinese. Koreans are gonna gather up with Koreans. The same thing. So people just gather up, and then the whole restaurant scene was for us, and the people started coming in, share the cultures, whatever, and then time passes by, and it just staples it because we had it to help each other. We put it at a very cheap price. Also, we have to find cheaper proteins, right? That's why the pork bone soup in Toronto it's famous, but the bones were free back then because no one was using it.
Yeah.
So we took that dish and then just started selling in a restaurant. So it's all how it started. And then Western people, all these people come to see it, check it out. Oh, this is really fucking cheap food. And then that's how it all goes up, right? Of course, the Japanese did amazing marketing, but I mean, I think they had an upper hand to start with. And also, I think simplicity of the Japanese food, right?
Just ultimately.
Yeah, it's like fish and rice. What's the confusion about it? I know how fish tastes
And do it well.
I know how rice, right?
Compared to Korean food?
Korean food's all gochujang and doenjang.
And then the fish sauce.
I mean, there's a lot of complexity on the flavors.
I personally, what you said was actually, I think it is true, but I also think the Chinese, especially the Chinese, and I don't know much about the whole Korean dining scene, but the Chinese dining scene, they didn't open up to the world at all.
Oh, yeah, true.
Any one of us, we can name, let's just say, 10 Japanese chefs. Right? That's got either 2-star, 3-star, or the best in Osaka, the best in Tokyo, best sushi, best fried chicken, best yakitori. You can name it. Even the new guys that coming in, right? The new modern restaurant that come in, you can name all that. But if I ask you, you're in Hong Kong right now, the best Sichuan restaurant in Sichuan.
We just know the name of the restaurant, not the chef.
Who the hell was it?
You probably don't even know.
You don't even know the restaurant.
I wouldn't even know the restaurant.
Right.
I mean, you have to.
The best restaurant in Hangzhou, we don't know.
I actually had the best ramen in my life
Yeah, but
in
Where?
China.
that's the thing. Nobody knows. When
Yeah.
I talked to a few media people when they go they want to do a piece of article on China, on the the up and coming Chinese cuisine. They want to try to introduce that into the actual top 50 itself, right? Because you look at it, the Asia top 50, one Chinese restaurant one restaurant from China that's in the list, and it's a French restaurant.
Yeah.
How is that possible? How is that possible, right? Because nobody knows. They don't actually know.
Well, because the mentality is everybody's I'm working, right? That's kind of like they're always working under something, and then I think maybe the Asian culture.
No,
is
they
just
don't care.
Generally,
They just don't
They
care.
just don't care.
like both.
Like seriously, they don't get. Like if you talk to any of the old, the older generations. Of
Yeah.
chefs,
I
Chinese
think
chefs,
I think now
They don't care.
even Korea nowadays, like before there's like, oh yeah, traditional is good, blah blah blah. And nowadays they're like, oh shit, all the things really good. And then the sad part about Korea is because they were saying, oh ours is good, whatever. And then now new restaurateurs and Korea is crazy right now with the restaurants. Everyone's opening restaurants. I think it's overpopulated.
As in which kind of restaurant?
I mean everywhere, like anything that is trend, anything that is hip. So
With cheese a lot.
basically there's no tradition.
Okay.
No one carries out traditions of what Korean cuisine is,
Yeah.
or even better version of it, because people are always looking for something new, because it's a very trend central city.
Yeah.
So let's say this rice cake dish, it's a hit. You get line out the restaurant.
Could be. I think so.
I could guarantee you, within 2 weeks, there's another restaurant doing the same thing right now. And you'll see that after a month, you'll see all over Korea.
Sounds like Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's very similar, very similar. So, when I actually went to Korea, I actually had to go to the countryside to actually find good Korean restaurant. Actually do authentic Korean cuisine that is done well. And people don't really know. You go to Korea and say, oh, bring me to the restaurant that was most Korean delicious, whatever. People don't really know.
So
Yeah, it's lost touch.
Yeah, lost touch.
Yeah.
So can you say that the new restaurants or everything like that is basically rely on
Trends. So there's no
media.
craftsmanship anymore.
Huh.
Like craftsman, like I actually take myself to craftsmanship. Okay, I do Korean food. I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna worship. This is my philosophy. This is the food that I'm gonna do.
I suppose it's like the social media exposure. It
Yeah.
just exposed you because everybody like your friends like this and like that, so you are exposed to the same content.
That's true. So people
And
don't.
then you
People
just like,
forget
I will
about
go
how
for that.
important is
Yeah.
like sustainability of the vegetables. How important to buy product for your own fucking country. Like support the things, right? Like vegetables or ingredients, whatever, right? This is your country. Like this is my country.
So you've been in Hong Kong for 5 years now, and you've recently done your pop-up in Korea. Can you tell us a little bit more?
So
like, how did you get into it?
this is just very similar to what Chris is doing in Hong Kong. So basically, we go foraging. We try to preserve native seed.
What got you into this space?
This space?
Yeah. As in, like, well, how did you start?
How did I get involved with this?
Yeah.
You know what? I want to give you a really good story about I care about world and care about life, and I just did that for my curiosity. What grows in my country? Like what grows the country that I used to live? I was born. What is the authenticity that I'm cooking? What is the food that I'm actually cooking? What is the philosophy that I want out of it? Working in Hong Kong, to be honest, I'm very commercial chef. To be honest, sustainability, I care all this shit as a chef. I care about it, but as a commercial chef, I have to close my eye on it. And my main focus is generate the revenue, make sure people comes in, make sure our restaurant stays cool and hip, so people always come back, and that's it. That's all I care about. But as a chef, inside some part of me still remembers beautiful ingredients from Canada, sustainability, and all this beautiful market and beautiful movement that people are making nowadays. So I actually reached out to Slow Food Korea, which now their new project is preserving native Korean native seeds or plants to help farmers to sustain, and actually we could continue growing our own vegetables. That is from actual
why
own
is
land.
that happening? There's this slow food.
So this is the thing. So they did 8 series of pop up this year. So they go different area of countryside like farming, and then we actually talk to the farmers, talk to like all the farmers pretty much in that town, and then we talk about the cultures, we talk about their specialty of the food, or is there any recipes or stories that comes out from the town. So we gain all the informations and we create dishes, and using their ingredients we create recipe for the farmers so they could sell it at their restaurant or they sell it at the bakeries or whatever. So we help, we visit bakers in countryside. They don't know about baking.
Because people are not buying it.
Yeah, they're not buying it. They don't know how to make it. So we go there, teach them how to make bread, how it works out, or if they want to promote Korean leek, then we make the recipe for a specific leek dish. Nothing else, leek and something else they want to promote. Yeah. So we create the recipe, we share with them, and we train them. And they'll sell it at their restaurant, or they sell it at their own farm, or they do their own dinners or whatever. So, and then we invite city people to come in. We introduce, this is what's ours, what's crossbreed or coming from exported vegetables. Yeah. So we show them the differences. And of course, some of the stuff, Koreans are not the best of it, but they're unique.
Do people understand? Or what was the reaction? Or did you get the time to look at?
No. I look at them. We talked to them. It was outside event. We set up the whole table outside. Kitchen was outside. It was all naturally made. They were amazed that we had a certain products from Korea, which they didn't know about. They thought, like, we had a native seed of tomato. I'm sure it's a long time ago, but it's been passing down in the region for a couple of decades or centuries, right? So, people, taste the tomato from, I don't know, US, and they taste tomato from Korea. They taste tomato from China. And then we explain to them why this is important. because once more farmers using crossbreed seeds or seeds from other countries, we have to pay guarantee to that creator or where is it from.
Yeah.
So
like a royal.
Yeah, royalty.
Yeah.
So in the future, if no one buys it,
sounds like one company I know. Like I know how they do business like that about seeds, but I can mention it.
Yeah. So I mean, but people don't really know because they're just consumer. They don't really care about where it comes from. They don't care about ecosystem. They don't really care. At the end, if they look cool, I mean, I'm sorry to put it this way, but as long as they look cool, as long as they're part of this whole cool movement, it's cool for them.
I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
If you make it trendy, that means more people willing to work.
Yes,
you don't want to look like a stupid thing.
That's why they're trying to work with a lot of young chefs.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got 50-year-old guy coming out and say our stuff is good. Buy Korean stuff, and it's not so exciting when your young chefs or young millennials come in and work with farmers.
Especially nowadays, South Korea is really good with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so
making everything look hip and nice and colorful and sexy.
Yeah.
Which is important.
I didn't make it look sexy. I think I was saying the point. But yeah, sustainability is the same thing.
So do you think is this your new thing now? Or you want to?
I don't know, man. I think
you've got your curiosity got into it.
Yes, that curiosity of course caught me attention. I think if I was more focusing on flavor profile, how to make margin and numbers and all this business aspect, this turns me away from it, and then actually focus on what real cooking is.
How does Chris do it?
He does it really well. He's like a professor.
I just I mean that. I'm not saying that I think there's a lot of people that actually can do it better than I do, but I just.
But we only know you at the moment.
Well, exactly right, and then I just tell myself don't give up, and then doesn't matter how many setbacks you're gonna have.
I give up so
don't
many
give up. I'm serious. I'm very stubborn. Like I'm super stubborn and I'm super competitive. So.
That's good.
If that's something that I couldn't do, then I'm just gonna get there.
You just have to cross that. You guys are like, I'm out.
No, the thing is, that's the reason why I respect him for something. Like, I mean, if no one knows this, I'll tell you right now, I'm the chef. I don't call myself a chef anymore. It's a good reason because I left the restaurant scene as a full-time.
I actually want to pick on that. Like, why do people? Okay, so we've met people who.
Okay, let me finish this. I think you have something to say, right?
Sorry. You go.
Super competitive.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
but
that was it. That was my whole point. And then try to figure out why that works and why that doesn't work. And I don't give up until I get it. Like if I want to achieve something. And that's what I want to do.
I fucking give up.
I want to know. Have you guys ever feeling burnt out? Because what she's trying to do is ask.
Yeah.
Because I literally
every 2 days.
Like 2 years ago, I was like, I'm completely burned out. Like, ask him how much I still care about my cooking. Like they know like finding the details and how the order goes, why that person's not picking up the dish. Why there's fingerprint there, like, God damn it, you should be putting it in the oven right now. That sort of things happened 2 years ago. Now I'm not that, like, crazy nuthead guy.
Perfectionist.
And I sort of left the whole restaurant scene because I feel like I'm burned out. Even people sometimes ask me, like, hey, you want to start a restaurant thing? I was like, really think about it, like, really, really, really precisely. Some of them, like, because I don't like working with certain people. I don't want to burn out again. So
it happens to all of us. It happens to me every 2 days.
How did you guys come back out after you burnt out? Like, what was your burnt out?
I gave up.
But you're still here. You're still here, though.
No, I learned. I think the most difficult part for me working in fine dining restaurants, nostalgic, beautiful with the farms and everything, and then as I get older, my position goes up, and I see there's not only a fine dining, there's a lot of different fields that you could go with your career path, right? Me, in my mind, was I want to be a restaurateur when I make money, and to make money, I'm going to be a good chef. do people know about me? That was it. Like there was only two things they were focused on. I just make good food, engage myself to learn more, and own a restaurant one day. There was, I think, everyone's dream. I think it's common.
Yeah, if you-
common chef's dream.
Yeah.
When you start off,
if you stay,
when you start,
yeah,
like,
when you start, this is like day one thing.
yeah,
right?
day one dream. What's your dream? I want to be a best chef in the world. Like I'm gonna be a owner of the restaurant.
3 stars, 4 stars,
So
16
excited.
stars.
And then I see my back of my mind. I'm like, good fucking
God
luck.
damn it, hurts. That hurt like that guy just yelled at me saying calling me a bitch. Like that hurts.
That's
Yeah, so it's just regular stuff. Right? It was so, and that's how it worked, right? So I mean, I'm absolutely agree that, like for me, I don't want to do fine dining. Before this whole conversation, this dinner thing started, I was just pretty saying like, I just turned out, I just create a scene, I make a scenario that I can let the chef to just tell me not to come back again. There's a reason. I hate being fired, but then I don't know how to turn that guy down. Like I turn like, no, I don't want to work in a fine dining restaurant. I don't want to say it in front of his face. I just tell him that I'm so not available that I know he's looking for a full-time guy, and I was like, I would go because I'm really fed up with the whole fine dining scene.
But that's the thing,
why.
right? I want to actually ask everybody here, what categorizes fine dining? Because what your opinion is probably not going to be the same as mine.
Exactly.
Go for it, I want to hear.
So my problem is figuring out what you want. Don't put a staple on it, and let that thing decide what it is. Because in the end of the day, right, we want to open a restaurant. When we're young, we have no idea. We have no idea what's going to be. We have no idea what kind of food we're going to cook. As we got older, because of the experience that we had, it kind of dictates, right, what your cooking style is going to be, what your service style is going to be. But if you can break that all down, like, and take yourself away from it, and go, what makes me the most comfortable environment to work in or to cook in? How much I want to charge people? And for me, it's I don't want to do anything that's, let's just say, more than $500. I don't want to do anything other than that. But in terms of aesthetic, it's a reflection of yourself. Because that on that point, it's not a business anymore. On that point, it's you against the ingredient against yourself. And that's just the craftsmanship. And there's nothing else come into play. There's no food cost. There's no amount of staff or enough people in the kitchen or server or the explanation. There's nothing there. It's just you and the ingredient against yourself. When that happens, what are you going to cook? And how much you're going to charge that? Right? So for me, it's that. It's how do you categorize yourself? If you don't want to do what everybody seems is a fine dining, that's okay. But what suits you? It might actually end up being something that is very similar, but without the fussiness, without the, the bits and bobs and pieces that people are anal about. The chefs say, "Oh, this is not a square. Oh, this is like a centimeters too long." Or like you have to cut triangle carrots.
Seriously, I'm gonna throw that shit back to my old chef.
Right, out of
that is exactly how we go.
Right, and then you wanna get rid of all that,
yeah.
but you wanna left with something that actually just speaks of you, right? So, for me, it's like I need to find my own.
Are you close to
identity? No way.
Have you find
no one's close.
No. I won't say close or not. Have you seen your path yet?
Yeah.
Have you seen your path?
This is like a centimeters too long. I think I'm not going to triangle carrots. What I can look right now
that
is
shit back to my old chef.
Right, out of
that is exactly how we go.
Right, and then you wanna get rid of all that. But you wanna left with something that actually just speaks of you, right? So, for me, it's like I need to find my own.
Are you close to
identity? No way.
Have you find
no one's close.
No. I won't say close or not. Have you seen your path yet?
Yeah.
Have you seen the
No,
path?
not yet. I'm still looking for.
Well, I mean, I think I'm not gonna see. What I can see right now is what I am right now. The 2018, 2019 vintage, so to speak. As I got older, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be different. And you can see that in other craftsmen as well. It's like the chef's food got simpler as they get older. The artist's work got simpler as they get older. It's like
until they just draw on.
yeah, it's like but I think
it's for
that's
$3 million.
But I think that's actually it's the same with any creative work. It's like the older you get, the less of a fuck that you're gonna give. So
I think you give a fuck, but it's just still like no,
you
like
don't,
to
you don't
overcomplicate
care about
Yes.
I like
I
that.
agree.
you don't
with
care about
Chris.
what other people think of you.
Yeah.
Right? When we're young, we care about the criticisms. Oh, people say this is not good. Oh, how
Because
come you
you're
don't see this?
still like completely learning more, and by then you get older, you're like,
I think so.
I've been there, I've done that, I know what you're
I
talking
think
about.
while I'm
I
getting
don't
like
need to listen to
40
you
something,
kind
that
of
I
thing.
just don't care. Like I'll do what I
Well,
want.
the funny thing is, Elvin said it once. Elvin,
Elvin is in Bow
Elvin Long, Bow
Innovation.
Innovation, 3-star chef.
Demon
before
chef.
when you look at his old dishes, lots of garnishes, lots of micro flowers, and all that, and then he one day we're making dishes for the event, and then he goes, he suddenly turns out, fucking that flower shed and herb shed, fucking bullshit, man. He's like, don't put it. I'm like, why? He's like, it looks pretty. I'm like, yeah, but instead of make your fucking food look pretty, just make it taste good.
Yeah.
And then it was right. It's a true thing, right? Like, I mean,
When did you actually work with him? I forgot.
I met him back in Toronto, but of course he never remembers me because he's a famous. I'm not.
Maybe like
I'll come back to that. I have a story. It's pretty funny. I'll come back to that.
But yeah, I mean, he's a. I learned it from. He's a crazy. He looks like a fucking crazy scientist. Back to the Future kind of guy. He's a blue head and say weird things all the time. But he has this. He re-engineers the food. And before, when like he said, like the microgreens and whatever, and then as you get older, like his dishes get simpler, but more on flavors. So rather than he spend 5 minutes how to garnish it, he spent that 5 minutes to how to elevate the flavor or enhance the flavor or how to match it. Right? I think I missed it too when I first opened Bibbenhops, was focusing on this is what I got. I'm gonna show you to the world what I'm made of.
Yeah.
And then you start putting all the shit that you know.
When you want to prove something.
Yeah, because you want to prove something. And then, and I think if I compare my food now and 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago my food is fucking garbage. To be honest, I think it's really shit. It was
everybody look at it.
Yeah, I look at my recipe. There's like 20 things to put in one fucking simple skewer sauce, and no wonder my cook quits every 2 months. Because they can handle the recipes, right? Every recipe that I give them has like 50 different ingredients, and then it's all gram weight.
And you
enjoy.
The worst part is we always think it's necessary, but then
it's not.
It's not. It's actually not, man. Like, and then now and then that continues to using MSG and not using, and my view on MSG is completely different now, because. Before I was like, oh, MSG, that's hacks, like old school chefs uses it, whatever. And then if you just find a balance of it, MSG is actually natural stuff. Like some of those are bad, but I mean, you eat a carrot or a seaweed, there's MSG in it. You know what I mean? So MSG is not really bad, I think. But I think more I get older, I get smarter on food. I mean, like how to make it quick. I work in commercial kitchen, right? So. If I make this dish, let's say you put 10 different ingredients, I have to probably down it to 4 different ingredients, and I have to sacrifice the quality of it, but consistency is there, so it's easier to follow. Like fine dining is how do we make this complicated so no one can follow this?
Exactly.
Right. Commercial kitchen
that's a good reason why I don't work in fine dining.
Commercial kitchen is how do I make it simple so everyone can cook?
Yeah.
Sorry?
What do you think of that? Because you kind of, for me, you kind of came out of it just now.
No, but like I don't even look at it anymore. To be honest, I don't even look at it.
See, this is the thing. Yeah, you stop looking.
No,
at
but
it.
like I don't simplify stuff. If I think like if there's certain thing that is gonna take me hours to do, this is what I'm gonna do. Like the same as like sourcing different ingredients. That's gonna take me 1 day to source one ingredient. Okay.
You do it.
Just mean I'm gonna get up really early. That's it. But that's the task I need to get right.
Of course.
I mean, all my foods got simpler as well. But there's one thing that it was just always complicated, and it's just not logical to make. Like it's that she had it when it was last year. I always had that salad dish on. Always, year in year out. I'm always gonna have that salad dish on. It's got like always got like 30 something ingredients, 40 ingredients, and you got like each single vegetable cooked a different way. But it's not logical, right? It's really complicated because like it's not complicated to make, but it's just annoying to pick.
Yeah.
Like prep.
And like in
So
that
many
way.
different things.
No, it was just a weird like you know on a okay, let's just say on that day you were there. Sure, we got like friends coming in, so we got a couple of VIP portions. There's a farm order coming in today as well. So what do? So we're gonna get to the farm at 9:30, and we're gonna pick all the herbs ourselves. Because at that point you have access to the whole plant. They're gonna cut it and give it to you, but you have the asset. If you go there by yourself, you have access to the whole thing. On the side, you have things that they don't recognize that you can use, right? There's certain things that only you can have access to it if you go pick it yourself. So I don't mind spending those hours to make that one dish, but I hate the complicated stuff. Like I hate it, but if that thing
you like the ending, but also the process is also.
Yeah, but like I'm in the same time, it's like I just as I said before, I just don't care. I just don't care if it's hard or if it's not hard. If this thing that takes 2 steps to make it the best version of what it is, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna add more to it. I'm gonna take it less. This only takes 2 steps to it. That's what I'm gonna do. If this thing is gonna take 50, then this is what I'm gonna do. Like it's for me, it's just task. Like I'll just break it right out. It's just task, and some of them takes longer. Some of them takes not so long.
To me, now I used to be the guy who try to simplify everything. Now, what I'm thinking is not about making it simple or not. It's just like what necessarily is to be done.
Yeah,
right?
exactly right.
Or else you just don't do that thing.
Just don't do
like,
that. Yeah, exactly.
if you think that part is just way too complicated, I probably just skip that thing.
Yourself to it.
No, on MSG, I would say it out loud. I personally don't mind MSG and chicken powder, but I'm not going to use it. It's because I have the knowledge and the skill to extract those stuff in a very short time as well. So, for example, you make a kombu, you just make a kombu stock, or you make kombu with I don't know, dried mushrooms, packed with MSG ready. All I have to do is just at the right temperature drop them in and let it sit there, and you just walk away and come back. You have something delicious. Instead of boiling that chicken for 12 hours, pointlessly boiling it. Like people don't understand why you need to cook that long, and they actually cook way too long and cook everything away already. So rather than make it simple or putting a scoop of MSG in there, or make it really complex, that you need to take that to cook for 24 hours just to take that chicken bones out. Let's just do it in more scientific way.
Yeah. If
necessary?
If you can taste, I always say if you can taste the different, if it make it taste better, make it.
Yeah,
right?
not
and if not, then no.
You don't have to put everything with white soy in there. No. There was one trend. Everybody.
Yeah, white soy
in there. Like for what? Say
white sesame oil or something like that.
I can't tell the difference, to be honest.
See, this is the same thing like a false meat. Same thing.
Yeah, they go through.
Oh shit, no, I don't. I'm dead.
I was already dead.
Right.
Oh, I didn't bring more battery. Okay, anyway.
So, let's wrap up.
No.
Beautiful meal.
No,
I just still got dessert.
You're making desserts?
Yeah.
Okay,
Shit,
you actually did dessert this time?
I make it really.
let's touch on pop-up.
Right.
So you want to showcase Hong Kong ingredients, in particular tomato.
Yeah, I'm not that noble. To be honest, I just want to carry out a message. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just I never really liked the idea going.
Piggyback on it.
You still have to come up your fusion.
Of course.
I just want to carry out a message. I want to plant a seed and
I think the reason why I think this is very exciting because I just did very similar pop up in Korea and I realized so many different things that I thought that I don't really care. I actually do care about it, and then I actually want to learn a little bit more, and I want to see the difference between where like Hong Kong and Korea are very similar, like very close together. But I just want to see the difference in what you can get, what you cannot get, right? And what we can actually do with it, right? So I think it's going to be a fun project. Like I said, like I say piggyback, but I mean when I say piggyback, because I actually love the idea that
the direction.
Plant the seeds and actually reuse them and then introduce to people why this is important. And
so have you guys already done collaboration pop up before?
No.
Us too? No.
No.
Not you two, but like with other people.
Yeah,
no,
I've done it.
I haven't.
You will? Okay.
Have I?
I thought you.
You did pop up before. You did with Vincent.
Yeah.
Test kitchen.
I think yeah, could be.
That's how we. It was before Fish School started.
Yeah.
And then we actually. At the end, I recruited one of the guys. His name called Ezra.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm actually the recruiting guy. I can recruit people. Okay, so for dessert.
Yes. What is
I don't really do that much dessert, and this is called the burnt toast milk pudding.
I like that wiggle.
The reason I make burnt toast milk pudding is very simple. Because back then there was a food trend called burning everything.
I did that too.
Exactly. This is my insult to Chris Ma.
I did that too.
I'm making fun of you. Because
I think I burned pretty much everything there.
yeah, there was like a trend that you burn everything. The cauliflower, I don't know, you named it. Burn carrots?
A lot.
Burnt carrot powder.
No.
Onion powder, gnocchi.
But I kind of like I got away from it. Like all the trendy stuff, I'm pretty lucky. I can get myself out of it pretty easily.
I don't know why though. I was so into baking soda and lye water.
Right.
I was into those two ingredients so deep. No, because and it just becomes science, right? It's like now you're playing with
So you're I don't know, mocking.
Yeah. No, I mean like
teasing him right now. But then I mean this is like sometimes you have to do it. I mean I personally still don't really burn that much things. I mean if it's necessary to torch things.
I'm not gonna do it, but how do you do it?
How do you do what?
Like infuse the flavor in it.
Oh, simple. I think we'll explain it in a layman way. So I was doing part time at some place, and I saw their bread. I spread it with a little bit of butter on there, put it in the oven, forget about it, and it turns out, oh shit, this is really black. And you put them into the milk and let it just soak there, and then they would zip out those brown things, and it would get really strong. You can copy it if you want to. I mean, I have people copying my food I know already. I'm not going to name the names.
Why do I feel like I know that person?
Small world. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Like talking about that, right? I'm just just want to, get it out there. So I don't care about these things too. Because I think, look, in this industry, everybody copies everybody.
Hey, you don't.
There's no originality.
Yeah.
Everybody copies everybody.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You think you doing this first?
I think you should be
done that
happy.
before.
You should be happy that people copy your stuff.
I don't care.
It can become a tradition.
Yeah, because what you do is successful. That's why people copy. You're not gonna copy a copycat, right? You're not gonna do that. Doesn't make sense.
Well,
You're not gonna copy a loser.
My thing is like you're never gonna stand still. So you're gonna evolve and move along and try to be better at what you do. So in a way, that doesn't really bother you.
No, they're inspired.
It doesn't really bother you because you constantly feed off from other people too. Like you looking at what other people do.
Yeah.
And you're taking inspiration from that.
I didn't came up with milk pudding. Someone make it up first, and I copy that thing.
Right.
And someone burnt the toast and just add them together. Like, probably someone did it before me. Most likely, someone did it before me.
I was making burnt sourdough ice cream 6 years ago. So
Burnt salads.
So yeah, so this is a trend. I mean, the trend is very important, but then at the same time, when we're younger, right, you always try to copy someone's stuff as well, but you're not gonna mention it.
yeah.
Yeah, we're probably supposed to say no. But one thing I do have to say, like, you know, if anyone knows whose name is called Marco Pierre White, right? Okay, so it's Gordon Ramsay's mentor. Now, the most important part is not he made Gordon Ramsay cry. The most important part is when he had his restaurant back in the 90s, the first $3, like he's the 3-star guy. He actually, when he did certain dishes, they actually name ode to whoever it is. Like, for example, we make the pig's trotter.
Pierre Kaufman.
Exactly. He actually said it on there. Pays honor to Pierre Kaufman. So rather than rip people off, you honor that person. Then people are like, okay, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, credit.
Then, but nowadays you don't see credits, right?
Just don't use the internet. Who knows?
Exactly.
No, but you can't taste stuff on the internet.
That's so true.
Right? That's why that's the whole trend got started. 'Cause you can't if you can taste stuff on the internet, that defeats the whole purpose. Because then you can actually like decide if you like it or not.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this question before I go in for the whole social media thing, internet thing. So, what kind of food do you think you're gonna cook? You want to cook right now? Like, to be honest, if you're gonna have a brand new restaurant, what kind of food you want to cook? The style. You want to be really finesse.
And they're
like
kind of like
fine.
at that moment right now.
Yeah.
No, you go first.
Go ahead.
Not really. No. I was saying like because Yong just said he's doing very commercial for right now. But let's just say forget about the commercial. You don't need to look at the P&L. What would you do? Will you go back to the Western sort of cuisines, or are you gonna?
No, I think boring. Chris is saying before is just that I'll cook me. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like I can not cook
Yeah.
myself and.
I want to know you. What kind of
But
style?
I mean, I think it's a story, right? Like he said, like we give a thoughts to certain things, and we give a life, and then we put everything into the food that describes us, or me, or you, or whoever. I think defining cuisines and nowadays, I think it's pointless. I think everyone just cross borders everywhere. Even you're doing Chinese food, you're gonna cross some border of Korea, Japan.
Yeah.
You're doing
You
Japanese
naturally
food.
do.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
there's a French woman doing Cantonese food in
so
Paris.
it's the thing,
Yeah.
right? So I think,
there you
you know, there's no specific cuisine I want to do. I think I want to cook me, like, which is my experience, my thoughts, my philosophy, you know, just mix of everything, right? I worked in commercialized restaurant, I worked in fine dining, you know, maybe I could find, you know, fine line in between the two, you know what I mean? Just based on my experience, cooking my story, right? I think that's the type of food. I mean, I always, you know, admire Japanese cuisine, and I did Western food, and I love Korean food. But I think at the end of the day, I think those three things are gonna somehow weirdly harmonize, and then I think that's gonna be my food. That's the food I want to cook. I want to cook the food that actually people can relate it to. You know what I mean? Like some kind of stories or whatever I was thinking when I was making the dish. You know, not just a dish like, okay, this is a cheap, convenient, fast food, eat it, go. Right? I mean, you know, I'll put a lot of care with my food too. It's not that like food that I have in my restaurant is just careless. It's more downstream to more mainstream, right? To
More
open
true
public,
as well,
yeah. The food that I want to cook is I don't give a shit about who eats. To be honest, like this is me. So you know, whether no allergies, no vegan, no shit like that, right? Like this is me. I'm cooking my story. So whether you accept my stories and you know,
So basically, what you want to do, your cuisine is going to be your story.
my story. That's
That's
it.
fantastic. So, what about you, Chris? Are you still going to bake on vegetables and
No,
different kind of
I
origin?
want to do something that's, you know, well, sure, that's not ever going to change. You know, like the whole focus is never going to change. But in terms of like stylistically, just got to be very simple but with finesse. Let's just say that. I think because that speaks of who you are as well, right? Because if you can tell how the person is and how he cooks, it's pretty much related. You know how certain people behave in front of the public or in front of other people. It's most likely how their food is going to look like. I'm not going to name names, but it's very easy to point out a few people is like that. In the city alone, that you can point out a few person that's you can recognize their food. It's extension of themselves, and if you have the guts to say, "Look, this is who I am," you can like me or you don't like me, but this is who I am. And if you can figure it out, then the stuff that you make is gonna make sense.